Well, what's up, people in the building tonight? If you are in the building, salute to everyone in the building. I'm just pinning the call-in link within the chat. It's already in the description, but I just want to add it on because this topic is actually a disclaimer. Let me give out a disclaimer, okay? You might be offended with what I might have to say in this live stream, okay? So anyone with tender feelings, you might want to skip this one, particularly if you're, a sensitive soul. This might not be the stream for you, okay? But basically in the stream, we're going to review an incident that happened here in London, okay? We're going to review that incident, and we're going to make out, try to get a teachable moment out of it, right? And of course, just like I mentioned, a live stream, call-in show. So if you want, you can join, put in your thoughts. It's a Friday night. Oh yeah, just to reaffirm, I'm going to be doing my Friday night live streams. Okay, if you check my panel, my main page, I'm going to come back with that. I know I've taken a break from streaming, but it is a fun thing to do every now and then, I guess, and I know you guys like it as well, okay? And I want it to be a bit more relaxed, a bit more chilled, a bit more of a bantery type of thing. Nothing, I'm not trying to teach you anything, right? I'm not a tutor. I did want to come on cam, but I just find that there's so much information to deal with these type of live streams. I'm going to keep it avatar mode, okay? And just to prove it, I'm not afraid to cam up where possible. That's not bad quality, actually. It's not bad. But I'm using the computer's camera, which is kind of crappy, but it's not bad. Just so I'm not hiding. I'm not some coward, okay? Leo Mills in the building says, I've got tender feelings. I hear you. I know you say you're joking, but I kind of believe you. Ephraim in the building, what's up? Salute to you, man. He says, what's up, Falcon? Good to see you, bro. Good to have you in the building. Doses of David says, are you going to show the video for those that haven't seen it? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, since you mentioned it, just to give you a teaser, because I want to kind of keep it in at the main point or the midpoint of the stream, but just to not tease you. Let me see, what do I have? Let me see. Can you leave me the fuck alone? Back the fuck up. It's a short, so it's not. I can't take it wider, but let me know if you can hear the sound in this video, just to test. Go back to your star. What do you mean? Stay away from me, bro. No, I don't want to chat to you. Fuck off. Fuck off. I don't want to chat to you. I don't know you from anywhere. Fuck off. I'll follow you. Go away. What is wrong with you? There goes the monetization. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Okay, let me say my part.
You just jumped in.
Okay, let me say my part then.
What's your part?
I don't know why you acting like that.
Bro, go away. Press a 1 if the sound is good, but we're going to review this in full. I don't want to know. You can go away, please. Fuck off. Fuck off. Go away. And at this point, this gentleman threatens to steal this woman's phone. Go away. You're not going to take my shit. Fuck off. Oh man, look, I shouldn't even laugh, man. I don't know why I laugh at grim things. I shouldn't laugh. We all shouldn't laugh. This is grim. Okay. So this is the main highlight of the stream. Actually, what I want to do is, because I just realized what area this is, I want to check. Well, I've got the site up here. I want to just see the demographics of this area so you guys can understand what part of London this is, okay? So the train station they were in is called Bruce Grove in North London, okay? It's an overground station. I mean, it's not underground, it's overground. So this is the ethnic breakup or makeup of the area. Hopefully you can see it all right on the screen. It's mainly a white British district, 28%. And then, the secondary highest demographic in the area looks to be Black Caribbean at 40%, Black African at 13%. Okay, like Ephraim saying in the chat, North London, absolutely. I thought Bruce Grove was near. Is it not near Haringey? I would have expected there to be some Turkish down here, but it's mainly white and black. Okay, we've got low population, low numbers of Asian people, Indian at 1.1%. So this is basically a black white area, okay, quote unquote. So, excuse me. I want to say a few things, man. Like I said, the stream might offend some of you with the tender heart, tender soul, I made this channel back in 2018. Actually, 2017 was my first channel, and then I just thought, F it, let me delete it. And I made another one in 2018, right? And upon creating that channel, man, I was aligning with this belief that, quote unquote, men aren't valued in society, or quote unquote, men are disposable, alluding to men needing more rights and activism, right? But for the years that I've commandeered this YouTube channel, I've seen a few quirks that really, really, really grinds my gears. And I just have to say how it is. Some people can see it in the Discord. Some people can see it in, I've seen it historically in my comments. But, things like low self-esteem, and I'm speaking about men specifically, low self-esteem, like the self-defeatist mentality and stuff like that. You see, the thing about being a quote unquote good martial artist, right? And I kind of want to spin this back to martial arts. I.e., what I mean by good martial artist is that a person that comes from a good club, not one of these Mac dojos that are tapping things and not really sparring and stuff like that. No effort. People who've gone to international competition. These things makes the practitioner naturally learn to overcome negative self-esteem, right? Now, obviously, I'm not trying to say that I am this super dude with no self-esteem issues. Absolutely not. But throughout years of training, you learn to overcome certain things. So I typically have a short fuse or have a low tolerance when I come across these mentalities, right? Now, I can't and I don't expect everyone to be a black belt, competitive martial artist, right? That's not the expectation. There's very few of us. I believe it's only something like, 30% of people who practice any martial art with a progressive system, about 30% of them become black belts, right? It's a long, grueling type of thing in a serious club, right? But from my point of view, a lot of these issues, it's on men. At a certain point in time, it's on men to learn to overcome, right? Past a certain point, past a certain age, people look bad when they have low self-esteem. When they have a self-defeatist mentality, when they're unconfident, withdrawn, uncompetitive, shy personalities. Like, at some point, we all have to overcome these things. And my method was the martial arts. That was a key avenue, right? But there's so many other things other people can do to overcome these things, Excuse me, I'm going to turn it back around. I'm not going on a tangent. I'm going to mold it into the topic that we're going to discuss, okay? If I have a low tolerance for that type of demeanor, how do you think the women that a lot of you guys want feel about that demeanor? Being low self-esteem and having a self-defeatist mentality. Again, I've been here for 5 years now. So I've seen, for example, the MGTOW guys say things like, oh, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. But then back in the day, when I follow them on something like Instagram, I see that they're following all of the booty models. These hardcore guys talking about, like, you're a simp, you're a simp. These guys that you expect to have the discipline and all of that self-worth and masculinity juice or whatever, they're following all the booty models on Instagram. You know, I mean, I already knew this. A lot of it's just a facade. It's all cap. I know what guys want, but that's when I realized that, yeah, a lot of these guys, man. And then now we've got the BP guys. I'm not even going to say the full term. BP guys, you know, the nihilistic guys who are, you know, willing to call every hopeful endeavor as cope, right? You know, like, this is why I disassociate myself with all of that crap, to be honest with you, man. Because for me, it all speaks to failure. And again, there's a zero tolerance when you've reached a certain level spiritually, mentally. There's a certain tolerance that you just don't have for a losing mentality. You know, and you got guys, you got big time YouTubers as well, guys who failed in their personal lives, making a business out of this, trying to convince you to basically go without. You know, to trying to convince you to be just like them. And a lot of them are capping as well, not living the life that they claim to be living. Don't ask me how I know, okay? But the reason why I talk about this is because, yeah, you've got a load of podcasts now, a load of streams, people streaming right now, I believe, talking about quote unquote modern women. Every day, like clockwork, videos, shorts, lives talking about modern women. And I hear you, I understand. You know, these are different times. This is not 1930s. You're not probably going to get the housewife and, you know, all of that good stuff that for some strange reasons people want, but they've never really lived the life. But okay, but yes, it's 2023, times have changed. But for me, it's more about us. You know, I do things to strengthen my own mind, you know, my own spirit, my own body. You know, and I'm not even trying to boast or anything. This is not a flex, but these are the things that I felt I need to do to stay afloat, to be mentally strong. This morning, every morning, I do cold showers. Every morning at 5 a.m. Cold showers. You know, cold showers, one of those things where it's like, oh, nah, never. Why would I do that? That's going against the grain. You know what I mean? But then you adapt to it. And it's almost like an illustration of adapting to the hardships that you might face in life. You're doing it every morning. You know, I'm gonna do a few good videos and vlogs on these routines that I do, because it's very important. You know, but I see these signs of weakness in men that just makes me, you know, again, disassociate. It doesn't fill me with the gusto to make content, because it's like, what's the point? You know, guys just want to listen to lies about women, podcasts, hours long, complaining. Modern women do this, modern women do that for how many years? What about what you don't do? What about what we don't do? You know, like signs of weakness. Look, I'm not going to go on a tangent. I'm not going to go on a long one. I'm going to do the video that you came here to watch, but I just have to say it, man. Signs of weakness for me is like things like addiction. Okay, addiction. Where you're for me, it just signifies someone that's mentally weak, can't control yourself, you know, low impulse control. You don't trust yourself to you know, to do what you say. It's almost like something is controlling the brain, right? Video game addiction, all the good stuff, corn addiction, addiction to alcohol, addiction to sugary stuff, sweets, addiction to weed, right? When it comes to so-called drugs, I have a holistic approach to drugs. I'm not like, you know, the average Joe, oh, drugs are bad because the FDA says it's bad. No, I think there is a time and a place for things, but the problem is people get addicted, and then it ruins them and it ruins the image of these things. You know, another sign is ego, and this is again where martial arts come in, because you can't have an ego in a martial arts dojang. Like, you have to literally bow your head to your superior. You know, but there's a lot of like 21, 20 something year olds that just already feel fresh out of uni that they know it all. You know, cowardliness. I think that, you know, back in the day, back in the tribal days, etc., there was always a rite of passage, right, where young boys were removed, or rather young men were removed from society and given quests or competitions, right? But a lot of us, we've never really been tested in this society. We don't have that. You know, we've never learned to handle fear. We haven't learned to overcome mental disabilities in terms of, you know, anxieties. We've never had that. You know, but again, it's our responsibility to override that, unfortunately. You know, there's a great book that I always recommend called The Chimp Paradox. This is a book that makes you very aware of basically living in your head, giving in to the fears in your head, which is the chimp. You know, the chimp is trying to convince you that, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that. You don't have the ability to triumph. It's a really solid book that helped me in a lot of my competitions. You know, but yeah, not knowing how to deal with fear is the biggest issue that us men face. You know, and it's particularly sad when I see it in people that are relatively close to me. You know, people who are addicted to trauma and confirmation biases. These biases that align with their own grim thoughts in their head. It's sad, you know, because you're trying, someone like me, I'm not perfect, and I'm not some, you know, oh, I overcame and I have this miraculous story, but it's like I've been in these positions, so I understand what it takes to remove yourself from these positions, right? But I feel like and it's a feeling, I feel like the content that has been coming out of this type, these areas, is just solidifying a lot of guys into that quote unquote failing. You know, some guy will post a video about some random woman talking about some irrational requirements for a relationship, and oh yeah, see, look at these women. This is what women want. This is one random woman on social media. You don't know if she's a sociopath, a psychopath, but people want to align themselves with these things. This is fear. This is giving into fear, man. And I say all that to say, again, back to this video. I'm going to tie it back around. I know it's quite small, but back to this video.
Jump across the tracks to come and chat to me. Go back to your stars. What do you mean? Stay away from me, bro. No, I don't want to chat to you. Fuck off. Fuck off. I don't want to chat to you. I don't know you from anywhere. Fuck off. Go away. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Let me say my part.
You just jumped
Okay, let me say my part.
Look, I said I'm not going to laugh, but it's a Friday night and I just find it hilarious, man. So it's like this guy is half serious, or at least, you know, he's quite serious, meaning that it seems like he wanted to chat this girl up, right? So he's saying, let me say my part, let me say my part. Probably got some chat up line for this girl. But remember, he's crossed live railway tracks to meet this woman. I'm going to loop the video again.
Bro, go away. I don't want to know you. I don't want to know you. Can you go away, please? Can you fuck off? Fuck off. Fuck off. Go away.
And at this point, I don't know if it's because of the rejection, he now threatens to steal this woman's phone. Like, what is this, man? Like, guys in the chat, what is this? What do you think this is? Is it thirst? Because, you know, is it just simping? Is this first, or is this just, what is this? I don't know. It's just now weird, thirsty slash criminal slash, I don't know, skullduggery types of behavior now. It's like morphed into something else.
No way. You're not gonna take my shit. Fuck off.
Again, look at this. Look at this. He's crossed the railroad tracks again. Just for you guys who don't know. Whoops. Bruce Grove is the overground. Okay, Bruce Grove. Just so you know. Okay.
Can you leave me alone? Can you leave me? Excuse me. Can you help me, please? Can you leave me the fuck alone? Can you leave me the fuck alone? Back the fuck up. You just jumped across the tracks to come and chat to me.
You see, I know there's someone out there, some guy who's, you know, listening to a lot of content who's going to say something like, oh, you know, she's playing hard to get, or maybe she was asking for it. You know, there's going to be some angle to blame this woman for this behavior. A frame saying first, excuse me, thirsty and stupidity. Diego in the building says demonic first levels. Absolutely. Look, jumping over live railway track, you don't know which one of them is going to zap you. It could be raining and, you know, the water is conducting the electricity. You're risking your life to do this. Madness.
Go back to your star. What do you mean? Stay away from me, bro. No, I don't want to chat to you. Fuck off. Fuck off. I don't want to chat to you. I don't know you from anywhere. Fuck off. Go away. What?
You hear that? I'll follow you though. And then he's right in the woman's face with his hand in the pocket. At this point, you know, this is again the taekwondo brain in me. Look, and I know some of you, you know, you might think I'm reckless when I talk about certain things. There's a lot of things that I don't talk about live, right? But at this point for me, if someone is like posturing like this to me, okay, I mean, it's self-defense mode, I'm afraid. You know, at this point, anything goes. You know.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Let me say my part.
You've just jumped.
Okay, let me say my part then.
What's your part?
Damn, what's your part though?
Part?
Why you acting like that?
Bro, go away. I don't want to know you.
Let me know.
I don't want to know you. Can you go away, please? Can you fuck off? Fuck off.
Did he say it's only a few sentences? Let me say my part then. So now he's kind of butt her and asked and said, you know, talking about stealing her phone.
Go away. You don't really.
You see what I mean? It's like, on the one hand, playing this type of video, you know, it's almost buying into this or giving into this idea that some of these women have with men being these brutes, these evil brutes that are out here to, you know, cause abuse and take advantage. But I reckon if this woman didn't have this phone, this could have been something else, man.
Can you leave me alone?
I just can't get over the train track, the walking over the train track.
Can you leave me? Excuse me. Can you help me, please? Can you leave me the fuck alone? Can you leave me the fuck alone? Back the fuck up. You just jumped across the tracks to come and chat to me. Go back to your star. What do you mean?
I want to ask a very sensitive question to the people in the chat. Salute to everyone in the building, man. Could be anywhere, but you're here tonight. Now, I appreciate the super chats. I'm going to read them out in a sec. I appreciate the support. But I want to ask a question I don't really want to ask. And I want to ask you to be honest in the chat. Are we surprised that it's a black man doing this? I didn't want to say that. And maybe it's wrong to say that, but is this a surprise? Who else would you expect to behave in this way. Like, I'll think if someone has the courage to cross tracks, they are going in with intent to do something serious, you know, like actual, what's the fruit? What's the name of the fruit? If anyone can put the emoji of the fruit, because that is at least what you could do if you're serious and you really want to chat someone up or someone just caught your eye. I would expect you to at least be a civilized person and take that, you know, there's probably a bridge there somewhere where you can cross the platform naturally and speak your speak. But I think if it was anyone else, any other demographic, it's going to be straight. Yeah, I mean, straight. But this is just a weird one, man. It's just,
Stay away from me, bro.
it's like when someone's so thirsty, but they, you know, the palpitations kick in and they just stop for a minute and they're kind of shook. Yeah, I agree. I think this is first, man. This is just pure first.
No, I don't want to chat to you. Fuck off. Fuck off. I don't want to chat to you. I don't know you from anywhere. Fuck off.
Damn, I'll follow you then. Let me see what the chat's saying. Salute to you, Shakanulu. Shakanulu in the building. Peace, bro. Ifechi Michael says, no, not really. Ephraim says, no, I'm not surprised. James says, I'm not surprised. TM says, not surprised at all. Let's be real. We all know brothers like this. Diego Harry says, definitely not, because he's at the point where the pursuit of girls is the measure of his manhood. Excuse the pun. The ultimate measure of manhood. Absolutely, man. I mean, he's risked his life to not even have any. It's just a violation, man. It's just a violation. And okay, I want to just go through at least just one article with you guys. I'm not going to, you know, bore you with a lecture or any sort of overwhelming statistics, but this seems to be a thing, man. Exhibit 1. This seems to be a theme. Okay, London Underground. And I don't want to bait man up, but look, this Don, he did something. Okay, he did something. Let's read what he did. In May 2023, a ex-offender has been jailed after being caught by plainclothes British Transport Police officers assaulting a teenage girl on the London Underground. The dude, 32, and they baited him out with his address and everything, from East London, was found guilty of assault at Inner London Crown Court in May. Okay, the judge sentenced him to 18 months in prison and a 10-year harm prevention. This order, which prevents him from intentionally standing behind or next to any female he doesn't know in a public place. Okay. He's also ordered to pay a victim surcharge of just £187. Okay. So it doesn't go into full detail into what he did, but it's assumed that he was standing behind a woman, right? And there's a term for it. I just learned in doing my little research, there's a term for this. Okay, there's a term for this thing. And you know how I feel about the daggering in carnival. But there's a term for this behavior. I think there's a group of guys, they call it frottage. Okay, where you're basically trying to basically wind up behind a woman without her consent, mostly in public transport. Okay, and some people have a group that kind of boast about this. Frotteurism, which is actually classified as a disorder, is the act of touching or rubbing one's genitals up against another person in a sexual manner without their consent to derive sexual pleasure or reach orgasm. Damn. The disorder is repetitive in nature, as can be seen with thousands of posts in the forum. The posts of the website have stopped since mid-January 2021. Okay. Photos have been posted on the website, but they have since been removed or disabled from view. So there's people trying to do these acts and then take pictures of it. Okay. What else do we have? What else? So there's even a campaign, okay? I don't know if can you see this poster? There's a campaign on it came from the TFL website. There's a big poster that says you can't do these things: staring, upskirting, pressing, touching, right? And it lists the behaviors are being highlighted by the campaign: catcalling, obviously making unsolicited remarks of a sexual nature about someone, exposing, that is revealing your own intimate body parts, cyber flashing, sending or showing sexual content without consent, pressing, rubbing against someone on purpose, that's the frottage, touching someone inappropriately, staring, intrusive staring of a sexual nature. Now, this is a big one because I don't know. I think a lot of people might be guilty of at least staring, looking at someone intensely. And, I think we've all been there at some point, I guess. But we need to understand that this is, it's not a good thing. It's not a good look. It it's weird. And upskirting, taking photos under someone's clothing. Okay, so it seems to be a thing happening on the London Underground. Okay, but hey, we've got an article. I'm not going to read everything. We've got an article where a woman assaulted a man. Okay, so they're creeping up to the women as well. A woman assaulted a man. So I think this woman basically probably hiked in the tube, and she was trying to link arms with another man down there. And the man refused. And I believe, they don't mention it, but I believe she tried to grab his crotch, right? So people are on the lookout for her, for assaulting a man. And also other men are assaulting other men, okay? Other men are assaulting other men as well, sexually. I'm trying not to say that word too much. So I hate to report this because I'm not trying, obviously, this is a minority of men. Let's just get this straight. This is not all men going out there staring, groping, frottaging, right? This is not the majority of men, but we got guys doing this, and, anyone can grab the link if they want to come up and if they got answers as to why this is. But I think it just links back again to what I spoke about earlier on, man. It's just a lot of, in this case, it's addiction, right? Maybe the corn addiction has become overwhelming. People are trying to, maybe people who are a bit more antisocial, they're trying to enact some of these fantasies out there in the streets, without consent. Which is a damn shame. So let me just read. I want to big up the people who showed love in the building. Salute to everyone in the building. Again, I want these streams to be more of a relaxed kind of end of the week thing. I want to produce more video content during the week, and then at the end of the week, we just have a live. Anyone just pops in. But salute to Ifechi Michael in the building. Salute to you, bro, with the £1 super chat. I really appreciate it. £1 super chat from Ifechi Michael, man. I'm using your GIF. You used this GIF so many times that I had to jack it, man. But salute to Ifechi Michael, first one showing love in the building. Salute to you, bro. And we also got MJA 2873 in the building with a $5 super chat. I really appreciate that too, bro. Salute. MJA says people just need to learn to take no for an answer. Absolutely. No need to be creepy by harassing someone. Dude needs help or he'll harass the wrong one. Hey, absolutely. He'll harass the wrong one. Man, it's like you can watch this endlessly because it's just so unreal.
What is wrong with you?
Let me say my part.
You just jumped in.
Let me say my part then.
What's your part?
Why you acting like that?
Bro, go away. I don't want to know you.
Let me know.
I don't want to know you. Can you go away, please? Can you fuck
Let me say my
off?
part then.
Is it me? I just clocked something. Is it me, or does every black British girl sound like that? Like that kind of lingering voice. F off. It's just something that I clocked.
Fuck off. Go away. Go away. You're not gonna take my shit. Fuck off.
Damn. Okay, we got someone in the back. I've got a few sound bites that I want to start using. I'm not good at them, but I need to start using them because they're pretty good.
Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived.
Well, that one's probably a bit lame, but shout out to Shekanulu in the building, man, who became a member, man. I really appreciate that, bro. He became a member. Shout out. And just to speak about membership, I don't want to, do promotions and stuff, but if you decide to be a member at a certain level, that's the 499 level, I'm going to give you a free comprehensive language learning course, okay? If you choose to be a member, okay, at $4.99 per month, okay? It's this course is worth well over £200. It's helped me learn 2 languages. Okay, you've got a choice of French, Spanish, German, Italian, and Japanese. Very good audio books. All it takes is half an hour a day to get to a very good conversational level. So, hey, it's just an incentive. If you guys feel like joining, if you don't want to, do random super chats during the stream, just, hey, £2 a month, £5 a month. It is what it is, man. But I appreciate you, Shekanulu, for joining, showing real support. Billy the Goat in the building says entitlement. Salute to you, bro. Entitlement. Okay, we got people in the back. I'm gonna bring them up in a bit, but let me just I just want to go through the chat. I don't want to miss out because you usually have some gems in the chat. Where's the chat? Yeah, that was jokes. Let me say my part. Like, what? Look at this guy. Let me say my part. Jeez. Let's see who's in the building. Days of cold approach. JM says days of cold approaching is over. But is this really a cold approach though? I mean, technically it is, right? But this is, again, the fruit. This is a fruit approach. This is the G approach. Like crossing the railway, I don't know if that class is a cold approach, man. That is a shocking approach. But I get you. I get what you're saying, though. MJA says staring is a big problem everywhere. Absolutely. Absolutely. On the one hand, I understand because, especially for the more shyer guys who's not going to speak. A lot of women talk about this. A lot of women experience it. It's just guys just eyeballing them. Might be in a car staring at someone on the pavement or something like that. But yeah, it's not good, man. And again, this is about controlling first. If you're not going to speak to someone, just don't stare at them. That's the rule of thumb. If you're not going to speak to someone, don't stare at them. The frame says this kind of behavior is mostly shown in Asian countries. It'll be good to see a clip about that. Diego says Arrested Development has become cultural. I thought he was a teenager. 32 years old. Yes, exactly. That's another big point. This is a grown man. Might even have a wife. You never know. Might even have a wife, kid, baby mama here and there. But yeah, 32 doing this type of stuff. Let's see what else. But yeah, I think I've caught up. Salute to everyone in the building. Leo Mill says it's showing off. Harassment, things men do, King Calculus. Kakula in the building. Salute to you. Social media addiction. But then again, the victim is a TikToker, right? Or is he just a user? Because I'm not sure. Like, there's always an event that happened before the scene where things started recording, so we never really know the true or full picture. Salute to Kings and Queens in the building. Salute to Captain Toast in the building. Salute, salute. I can't tell if he's a Pookie, Ray Ray, or just an incel. He could be both. Okay, that's a good point, because I've done a few streams, or I've done one recently actually, asking if or why, you know, there might be a rise of the so-called inceldom in Black British guys. This might be an example of that. Like this, I don't know. Maybe society, look, there's so many various reasons why it could be the case, right? But I believe TM believes, based on previous conversations, that it's always been a thing. You know, Black guys have been shunned in society. So, you know, that leaves a lot of sexually frustrated men that might go above and beyond and do crazy things like this to get their point across, right? And it's sad if that's the case. It's sad. But at the end of the day, again, at a certain point, it becomes our responsibility. At a certain age, it becomes our responsibility to overcome certain things. And this is why mindset is just so important to me. You know, some of you watch certain creators, and look, this is not me trying to down anyone. You know, watch whoever you want to watch. Hey, it's the same for me. But you need to now understand that the content that you watch infiltrates your mind. You know, we tend to watch content on a daily basis. You have it in your headphones all day, every day. You know, it's going to affect you in some way. I believe in the future there's going to be some sort of disorder or you know, effect that all of this social media has on the human mind, on the brain. We just don't know it yet. We're just in the genesis of it, right? But yeah, I mean, I've said it so many times, and there's so many things to discuss. But yeah, we need to deal with all of this first, and pent up, emotional, somewhat violent tendency. And again, not all men. This is not all men, but you know, some men are out there doing these things.
Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived.
With that being said, we got JM Talks in the building. We had someone else in the back, but I think they jumped on. So apologies if I took a while. Okay, 1 second. Let me just quickly get MJA's second super chat with $2, man. I really, really appreciate your support, bro. Really appreciate the Americans coming through, showing love. Okay, really do appreciate that. Sorry, I'm addicted with that meme. But he says he may have mental illness, but still not cool. Yeah, hey, that could be a thing. But yeah, it's still not cool. It's still creepy, and it's still dangerous. You know, that is very, like, that could have been someone's woman, right? Someone's partner, or you know, wife, or whatever. They could easily have been some sort of roadman, someone violent, or someone out for revenge. Find this guy, and you know, it becomes a life-death situation. You know, but salute to MJ. I really appreciate that. But we got JM Talks in the building, man. Salute to JM Talks. How you doing this evening? How's your Friday been, bro?
It's been okay. Very productive.
Good.
I did a little bit. I'm back. I'm back gaming now. I got some help regarding how to game with ADHD. It's actually pretty simple. So I'm back to that. But the great thing is time isn't actually being wasted while I'm doing it. It's a pretty interesting way. It's basically like cyclical type of gaming. It's American Association helped me with that because the UK is basically lacking regarding that. But
what
on
console did you get? Just curious. I mean, I like the chit chat. What console did you go for? What's your typical console of choice?
PlayStation 4, I'm probably getting PlayStation in it.
Mm, I
Yeah,
hear that.
but what I've done is basically cyclical gaming where, because with the ADHD brain, it's very good on understanding cues. So if I just disconnect the video game, like, and just put it in the box, that's my cue that I'm stop gaming, and then my mind just blanks, and I
You know,
can
I've been
focus.
trying to do some research on, because I believe that all games are not the same. Like
I don't know.
different games have different effects, right? Like
Yeah.
a online shooter, sports game, beat 'em up is going to be different from like a role playing game where you're reading and you got a story that you're following. You know, I think there's some nuance to it that some people just don't appreciate. You know, like puzzles, strategy. I
Yeah,
really
not all
think that not all games are the same. You know.
games are the same. The association that helped me with my ADHD and gaming pretty much pointed that out. For example, there's actually video games that are good for ADHD brains, like simulator games,
Mm,
Minecraft,
mm,
Portal, various things like that. But
mm.
I stick
Yeah,
to Call of Duty because I like Call of Duty. But there's still things I have to do.
fair
Uh,
enough.
yeah, and
Fair
that's
enough.
including.
Salute to that, though. Salute to that. I just want to start off. Actually, TM makes a point that I don't know if you want to respond to it. He says the society puts expectations too high for black men, meaning we have guys like this one in the video. Do you think that's true or false? Because in a way, it kind of says, or you know, not to put words into TM's mouth, but it's almost it's almost saying that this is a result. This is society's problem.
I would not even say it's black men. I'll just say it's men in general.
Mm,
I was trying to explain to a guy in my Discord regarding how much pressure, even though this guy is like my generation, he's 32 years old.
mm,
Same age as me actually. The thing is even the generation before that, generations like Gen Z,
yeah.
they have a lot of pressure on them as well. Like it is literally gone on steroids because everyone's chronically online, right? Gen Z is chronically online. Like they're the most online generation of, I think, but basically of all time, right? And they've
Uh-oh.
grown up with it. So most of the interactions is online, right? Even though yes, there's obviously is gonna be a few social interactions, it's nowhere near as much as us millennials because we had a bit of a balance of a time
Right.
where
Coming up.
we
Right.
didn't
Yeah.
have social media like that, and then we did have social media. So we had a nice little balance,
Mm,
right? But with Gen Z, there's a lot of pressure, and it's not just black men, it's just them in general. Like when I was trying to explain to a guy on my Discord, he just wouldn't take what I'm trying to say to him. But I actually speak with the youth. I have nephews,
mm,
people that I speak to who are of that generation, Gen Z, and the expectations of them is ridiculous. Like there's like girls like 17, 18, right, expecting guys to get them bags and shit, like Birkin bags and shit, and like they're like getting it on loan on something called Carlna or something. Like it's ridiculous.
mm. Klarna.
And
All right. The paying installments.
yeah. Like guys are doing this, right, to just get women's attention. All this, it's wild because basically what's going on is, and this is not with everyone, right, but it's quite a lot, right? Everyone's on TikTok. They're seeing all these social media, podcasts and all of this stuff. You got to be a CEO of a world. You got to have five
Mm,
mentions, six pack. You got to
mm.
have glass skin to just get attention of a woman, which is just absolutely not true.
Okay, but let me ask you this, bro, because you're making great points that are really.
Right.
I'm happy that you're taking it down this road. But whose responsibility is it to say, hang on a minute, your expectations are too high. Like I'm a 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I don't work. I'm studying. Like
Yeah.
my pocket money is like £10 a week or something like that. Like, when is it time that it's on the guy to say, look, I'm not playing this game because look, I can't be doing this. I can't be taking out payday loans and doing Klarna and doing this crazy stuff just for you.
Their response, like the responsibility is on them, but
Mm,
I'll give them I'll give them, let's say, some leeway because they're younger and so on and so forth. And then also, is the parents instilling values of healthy relationships as well, right? That's a very important thing. In my opinion, I don't think so. Because based off the reflection of society in terms of how people are talking to each other, it's just I don't know. And then I think a lot of them are lacking social skills in terms of how to just talk with people, because people need to be going outside. Like, for example, this whole cold approach situation I wouldn't even call it a cold approach. I would call it a frozen approach because it was just that bad, right? But the thing is like with him, I think there's so many factors that I think is what I just think the guy is super thirsty, right? The idea he's given me is he's probably tried these dating apps, right? He hasn't, let's say, had success. So he's going on it's like a last ditch attempt, right? Like it's the ultimate Hail Mary move, right? And to be honest, like there was things that wasn't mentioned in this is that woman's lucky to be alive, to be honest. Right? That whole situation there was no one in the train station, right? And this is another point I'm gonna make after this. Is there was no one in the train station. Things could have gone south real quick. She was being very provocative. She was basically could have egged the guy on. If he didn't have some sort of, let's say, emotional intelligence, he could have acted out and physically harmed that woman, right? It could have got a lot more worse, right? And another thing as well is this is why I try and explain to some women, right? I was trying to explain this to one girl who has a daughter, right? I'm saying, okay, I understand that, yeah, you want to be out just like a man and so on and so forth. But what you got to understand is you got to have certain ways of moving around places. Like, stop being out at night on your ones and all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you have the right to do that. I'm not denying the right, but you got to understand we're not living in an ideal world, right? Anything will pop off if you're on your ones out late at night on a station. She shouldn't be in that situation in the first place. Play it safe.
Okay. One
safe.
second.
Go back home. Yeah, but go on.
Sorry to cut you, bro. Captain Tosin says, which is a vital thing, if it's true, he says the guy wasn't black. Can anyone in the chat confirm this? Is this true? Or, I mean, from what I hear and from the, the posturing, I think, yeah, this is a black guy moving to a black woman, in my opinion. But does anyone know if this is true? Or JM, do you think, I mean, yeah, he's hooded up, I guess. I mean, to me, he just looks like a black guy. Come on.
I think it's a black guy. Right. The reason why is you're on Bruce Grove. That's North London. I think that's North London. Yeah, Bruce Grove. That's on the London Overground line. Right. There's bare black people there, in it. So I never
knew that. I never knew it was like a lot of black people. So yeah, after white British, 28%, black Caribbean, black African are the next biggest demographics in the area. So it's basically a black white area.
It's a black person, brother. Like, I know where the blacks are, in it. So thing is like I know where to go and where not to go, in it. Like Bruce Grove is just a black place. Like it's just bare black.
Bruce Grove is off Tottenham, isn't it? Because I remember
it's close to Tottenham. If you go down the Overground, it's like there's a few stops near, I think, Tottenham Hill or one of them stations there. But that's just really that. Like, it's a black guy. The guy's moving black. Even though how can you define that? But bro, I know it's a black guy. I've been around moving in.
There you go, something else, but boy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be too much, too much badger, let's say badger tendencies going on there. But
right, yeah, the Uncle Ruckus.
Black guy.
Yeah, I hear that. But I mean, okay, like the whole thing about society being harsh on black men. Let's assume it's a black man. Again, like I understand, okay, you're desperate, maybe you're thirsty, maybe you're even a corn addict, right? And you've got certain drives, you're a younger guy. Look, again, this guy's 32. I would expect someone like this, I don't know, from a 17, 18-year-old, someone like juvenile. Okay, you want to make an approach, you're just seeing some, beautiful woman and you just need to make that approach tonight. Like enough is enough type of thing, But then to cross railway tracks, bro, like, can we really say that this is because of society putting expectations too high that it alleviates this behavior to cross railway tracks to move to a woman.
It's insane behavior. Like, it's something mentally not right in the head. Like, that's live rails there. How do you know a fast train would have just, like, could have zoomed by, and then
Right.
it could have been curtains, isn't it? You never know. But what I'm saying is regarding that, it's insane. Like, the first there is just on biblical levels. Like, I have never seen something like this before. So
Mm.
really, it just is what it is. But the woman as well, like, I keep saying that, even though it's unfortunate she's been put in that, like, unfortunate that's happened to her, and I'm happy that she's alive, right?
Mm.
But for me, even as I'm a 6'3", like, strong guy, yeah, I'm not gonna
Mm.
be out at those times. You know what I'm saying?
Do
At
we
least I'm
know
gonna
roughly what time it is? Because to be fair, I mean, we're now on winter time, right? From Sunday, so it could have been, I don't know, sun setting around like 6 or something like that. So, do we know what time it is?
we don't,
What it
but
was?
the station looks pretty bare,
Mm.
right? Around evening, there'll be a few folks around there, innit?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, but again and again, it's Tottenham. It's a populated area, so I think that's really, really a late time, in my opinion. But
Right.
it looks that way. The whole vibe of the station, all that. Look, I could
Empty.
be
Yeah.
wrong,
True.
right? But that's the grasp I'm getting. Probably early hours in the morning, maybe late evening. Saying, like, this is the type of stuff that happens. Like, there was the same with a woman that got attacked. There was a Asian woman. This was years ago, where she
Mm.
got attacked when walking down in a park. It's like late at night, and I'm just like, bro, like, you're playing, like, you've got to be moving more tactical, bro.
I want to ask a question, bro, and
Yeah, go on.
I don't know if it's going to be controversial. I don't care. Like, we're just free firing here. But all this content online about modern women, modern women, modern women. Yeah. And I hate to say it because I know there is negative press on, the manosphere, for example, and stuff like that, and all these, fresh and fit-esque podcasts. But because there's been previous antics like this, like I remember in one state in America where there was this woman who's wearing a mask. I wanted to bring up that video, but I couldn't find it. Woman wearing a mask, and this guy outside the subway was like, "I'm an alpha male. I'm going to approach you. I'm not going to take no for an answer." Right?
Yeah.
The question is, and I hate to ask you, but just to be fair and balanced, like Channel 4 News, is this content kind of playing a part in this kind of like just super forward brag, like, I don't know, quote unquote alpha male like behavior? I know I'm sounding like a journalist, but I just want to, just kind of make it well rounded. What do you think?
To an extent, yes, but
Mm.
I wouldn't say it's one of the biggest factors. I would just say it's an element, but it's not one of the biggest factors, right? This type of content that is going on, the red pill stuff, or whatever type of content that is going on, yeah, it's playing a role, because you just gotta keep it real. Like, these content creators are viral; they've got millions of followers, so people gotta get influenced by it. I have relatives who are influenced by it, right? Me, I don't really take into that type of content, because I pretty much got the blueprint in regards of if I want to date or basically find a woman. It's just one book that just helped me out. Once I did, I figured it all out, and it's just like, it's called Corey Wayne's 3% Man. Right, that book's amazing. Applied the work, and my dating life just improved. Like, that's why I don't have that first anymore, because I have the confidence to now know, hey, this is how you got to navigate, and this is how you got to do things. But unfortunately, what a lot of these red pill grifters or whatever they're doing is, because there's a mental health epidemic probably globally in the West for young men, right? What happened is you have your Tates, Nikos, all those guys, right? They've came in and they've basically filled in a hole of a symptom of a problem for young men, which is basically young men's mental health, fatherlessness, various things of that nature, right? So you also live in a society where, let's say, men are not really valued like that. There is sometimes an anti-male rhetoric sometimes, or some vibes that you sometimes get on the mainstream or in television or even in sporting events, right? So this is why what has happened now is guys have now gone in the underground. They're going to Discords, they're going to YouTube, they're coming
Mhm.
off the mainstream media platforms and having their own little cliques and talking, right?
Right.
PlayStation, PSN chats, all this is what's basically going on, right? And what happens is a lot of these guys, well, with the social media, what social media does is it amplifies something bigger than it actually is,
Mm.
right? Because there is, if you walk around the streets, you'll be seeing happy couples holding hands sometimes. You'll see a dad, a child, and and the mother just there. Like I did see all the time, like where I live, right?
Mm.
So if it's really that bad, it's not a reflection of what's going on outside, and they're not probably not outside like that,
Right.
right?
Right. Exactly.
And the thing is unfortunately, what's happened is a lot of these guys are taking this word for gospel,
Mm.
and you know, and they are getting undesirable results, right? And yeah, and I agree, Captain Colson. It has.
Sorry, bro. I just had to do that at that moment because it was just a funny thing. But let me shout out
Yeah,
Captain Toast and Super Chat, man, with the £4.99, man. I really appreciate that, bro. I appreciate your support. He says some men have acted this way before RP content. Not fair to scapegoat RP. Yes, I agree with that. There's always been the grape people. There's always been, abusive people. I'm not scapegoating, but I'm just trying to have because this is what a lot of people in the media will come to say, right? How effective, has what's his name? I don't even follow these guys. What's his name? Who was in Romania and got
Andrew.
Andrew Tate. They're gonna go to Andrew Tate. They're gonna go to the Sneakos of the world and stuff like that. They're gonna question why are men behaving this way, right? So I mean, it's worth the dialogue. Um, but with what JM said, man, with again with the social media just blowing up issues, right? I think that is an issue. I think that is a problem, you know. And when I mention this problem, some of these guys who are knee deep in this type of media, they just reject, any other dispositions. You can't like listening to another guy tell you what the quote unquote truth is about dating dynamics. It can't be true because everyone has a different dynamic. There could be like nuances. There could be uh, related instances. You could use some statistics. Yeah, sure. But you like some guy, right, talking about his experience with divorce, family courts, informative, but at the end of the day, that's not you. You know what I mean? So someone sitting there, and typically these guys are far younger than the content creator. It's like you're putting so much fear and so much anxiety into these guys. It's like, yeah, never get married, don't cohabitate, don't have kids. Like, but for me, that's not the way to that's not the way to live, man. And I know that's making me sound like a simp, but I say that being a content creator, knowing what this is about, and knowing, being in those positions where I'm thinking, oh yeah, red pill rage, female nature, but then it's like, look, another guy who isn't at least your father or your relative can't be dictating this type of stuff to you. And
Exactly.
that's basically my stance on RP stuff. It's not so much that it's wrong and people should not. No. A lot of the information is very good. It's very informative. People should know it. But to live in it for years and to just be in that cycle, like it's quite it's too nihilistic for me. And it's not because I'm soft. It's because that's what I've seen. I've seen guys for 5 years say the same thing, be stagnant in life, have the same kind of crappy mentalities, and that's their life. That's 5 years gone.
Yep. And the again, to touch on what Captain Tolson was saying, right? He's correct about the red pill, right? Not fair scapegoating. I did say it's just an element. I wouldn't say it's the biggest factor, but you have to also take into consideration Andrew Tate was the most influential man in the whole world at one point. He had literally influence in the Middle East and the whole West, right? And the way you know this is the British government was trying to literally trying to get this guy off social media platforms, right?
Mm.
But the thing is he had such a hold on the youth's minds, right? He had I'll say it's a genius affiliate marketing scheme where he didn't even have to be an active user to get his message across these platforms, right? Because he was giving everyone a incentive to promote his message, right? Now, that type of influence went global. The red pill went global, right? And the also thing you got to take into consideration, the red pill in 2022 wasn't the same red pill in 2011, right? Because there was people who came in and they grifted and they were using it to basically make money. That's why you hear the term red pill grifters, right? They didn't know shit. The guys back then were guys who were like in their 50s, 60s, or even in their 40s who were through a few marriages and so on and so forth. Those were the guys basically spitting the so-called red pill knowledge or whatever, right? And then it changed to a younger generation that didn't really experience anything, right? And then you had your few old heads that were mixed in as well with that generation. But that's really what happened. It's
You
an
know,
element.
like, yeah, I mean, the time that I came into content creator, I mean, to be fair, that was a time when around 2017, 16, that's when Super Chat came in. So that's when I noticed a lot of guys started to package their message into like a product where it's like, yeah, business. Like people got surprised when, you know, the Super Chat came, when the monetization came, and they just thought, yeah, man, we can take this over the hill. We can go all out if we just keep this message going, right? Keep that pipeline going. So that's the difference, because what I found was that back in, like, I don't know, 2016, for example, people were just talking just for the sake of talking, in the sense of informing people, being kind of educational, trying to seriously help people from a place of, you know, I want to teach people, you know, I want to inform people, I want to make sure people don't walk, you know, through my mistakes, right? But the thing is when monetization starts to come into it, you're gonna get the grift. And I hate even using that term because I'm not against making money, but you're gonna get people who personally, they might have changed or evolved from what they're talking about, but they're going to still regurgitate the same message to keep that pipeline, to keep the people involved. Oh, yeah, women, this, that, and the other. And, you know, it unfortunately, because it's emotional subjects, it's going to affect people in a way where it's like they're really wound up. And the reason why I mentioned the whole, you know, the content like that is because earlier on in the stream, I'm talking about self-esteem. I'm talking about nihilistic mentalities, right? I'm talking about the weaknesses that I've seen a lot of men online. And I do believe it's linked to that, because there's a lot of content creators, you know, spewing stuff. And again, it's not to debase content creators. Everyone has a right to say what they want to say. But again, when it becomes a business, you need to have a critical eye on this. That's all I'm not even trying to, you know, sneak this or, no, everyone should make their money. You know, yes, make money from YouTube because they're making money off of us. But when it's a message this intimate, this emotional, you know, where it can really affect a person's life, you know, it can really affect a person's life and their future, your future outcomes, because you're listening to some guy from over the pond, you know, having this very raunchy message that engage people every day. Do you know what I mean? It can get mad, but obviously I'm not trying to link that stuff with this instance in the sense that, oh, this guy has been known to watch or subscribe to this and that. No, I'm not trying to do that, but it's more for me the mentality of why people do stuff like this and where this first comes from.
I think, you know where else I think the first comes from as well is a sense of a scarcity mindset as well. Like, the thing is I don't know, because I'm just not active like that. I've just been focused on myself for a good time now. But I think a lot of guys, even like, because when you go on social media, right, like say on Instagram and so on and so forth, right, a lot of guys are just um a lot of guys are just they're just on it, bro. They're just commenting on the photos and just blowing up these women's heads with dopamine and shit, with all these comments being showered. Almost in a way, it's like worship in a way in extent, right? And if I was a guy that had a girlfriend and I'm satisfied in a relationship, right? I wouldn't really be doing things like that. Even as a single guy myself right now, I'm not even doing things like that, right? And what it causes, what it looks like social media could be doing for some men or not men, because there's this talk where some men feel like they're invisible and so on and so forth. With look, I understand the dynamics have changed compared to how it was, where it was just a man who the selling point of a man back then was the salary and the woman was etc. But that dynamic has changed. That's why these red pillars who are asking for the 1950s to come back are completely delusional, because that time will never come back. But the thing is like there is a sense of scarcity of relationships between, or healthy relationships between each other. And what I say is what guys really want, well, depends on their preference, and what they want is really a connection with another human being of opposite sex, right? And they may not be getting that because of maybe, like, and I mean authentic connections, like,
I hear that, bro, and that's a great point. But here's the
right,
thing, here's a pet peeve of mine. For example, a few videos back, I made a video, nice 360-degree angles about Tinder, for example, right? Specifically for black guys, black British guys, and this is just based on my experience, right? That, yeah, like a lot of people are suggesting there's probably a bias against ethnic minorities on Tinder. You never know. I mean, algorithms, AI, and stuff like that. It could be. So who you might match with is not who you expect or who you are used to matching with in real life. So my message is going to be like, okay, go outside, bro. And
yeah,
from that message, a lot of people get annoyed, right? And for me, that's just they're more annoyed at themselves, because it's a lot of people like, oh, cold approach is dead. Yeah, sure, cold approach is dead, but that doesn't mean you can't socialize. That doesn't mean you can't enter groups. That doesn't mean you can't try new sports, try new things, right?
yeah.
So it's like always this self-defeated, nah. There's only one way to do it. What did Einstein say? He's got that quote, the insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. So like swiping on Tinder and not getting results for years is the insanity that people, no. The future is online dating. The future is social media. Like this is the mentality I'm talking about. It's like it's just stubborn, ego, failure mentality. No solution. Someone's giving you a solution. Like it's just, I don't know, man.
You may have seen it in the self-refinement city, where I'm literally giving people solutions how to solve their problems, right? Sometimes a lot of these, not all, right, but a lot of the guys, right, sometimes they just don't want to admit they don't want to put in the work, right? And that's another factor you also got to take into consideration. It's like when some people go on dating apps, they see it like fast food. You know what I'm saying? Like, all my relationships has been because I was outside, I was meeting a new group of people, and then somehow a relationship happened. That's how most of my relationships have happened with a woman, right? It's me going outside, unexpectedly getting into a social circle, right? Mingling with someone, and then voila, things move naturally, and then we're probably boyfriend or girlfriend, or a love interest or whatever, right? Like, even one time where one of my girlfriends I had once, we were friends like for 4 years, and then we actually got into a relationship, right? Some guys just don't want to wait and understand that it's a process, basically, right? Like,
do the bare minimum, do the bare minimum. What I don't even like, what do they do on Tinder? Is it like, and then hi, like, just do the bare minimum, do a super like, whatever it's called, and then hope for the best. Like, no, you need to do the work, and that's what a lot of guys are refraining. It seems to be they're refraining to do, and that's why I brought up the whole being a coward. Like, you need to overcome that cowardly nature. Like, you need to go, like, you can't always use cheat codes to get what you want. Like, people use the terms like, oh, work smart, don't work hard. Yeah, that makes sense. But I feel like that type of statement is trying to avoid the fact that at some point in life you're gonna have to do hard work, and that's gonna take commitment. That's gonna take consistency. That's gonna take durability. But people guys seem to just want to avoid it, you know.
You know, I agree. And the other thing as well is regarding the putting in the work thing. I remember, it was cool. Yeah, this was like in the 2010s, right? This was the first time when I was actually like on the, let's say, on the dating scene, trying to basically talk to girls. Another thing that they
Mm,
don't want to accept is they're gonna have to take a few L's.
mm,
Like it's
big one.
inevitable, right? It's inevitable, right? I remember some of the most embarrassing things I used to do when I was younger, when I was really, and look, sometimes even to this day I still mess up, right?
Mm.
And the thing is, it's like you just have to accept that it's a process, right?
You
Again, with
remind
that,
me. You remind me. Sorry to cut you because I'm getting old and I
oh,
lose memory. But you remind me of the, what happened with that girl in Croydon, right? With taking L's. That was a good example of, what that guy do. He presented her friend with flowers, right? And the girl rejected it. And then he went to stab the friend was defending her friend, and then he just stabbed her, right? You're right. Like it seems like a lot of people just don't have the heart to take L's, like to be embarrassed, you know.
right,
And this is why I mentioned taekwondo competition, for example. Like when you're out there in the ring in front of a crowd of people, your L's are gonna be like you
for
can't
real,
hide it. If you get beat up, you're getting beat up in front of your family, your girlfriend, your team. You can't hide it. But the thing about
yeah,
that is that you learn to overcome it. You learn to just look. I don't give a f. I'm gonna
right,
lose. I'm gonna lose, but I could win. Like
right.
that's the trade off. You know what I mean?
Right, because again with the L's, right? I'll explain one L. I'll explain one L that happened when I was first like proper taking dating seriously, right?
Hmm.
And this is a testament in terms of how guys need to think. There's a saying I have, right, where I say rejection is protection, right? So
Hmm.
basically, there was this chick, right? I think it was a girl called Sophie in it, right? I'll just keep it there, right?
Hmm.
So this was in Sutton, right? So I wanted to take this chick out to cinema, right? We were gonna watch Harry Potter in it. So she lived a good like a train ride away, but for me, travel is free for me, right? So I had to travel from Clapham Junction to Sutton. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now she obviously knows what I look like, so on and so forth. It wasn't no catfish thing, whatever. We were talking on the phone. She sees me, FaceTime, all of that. Yeah. So as soon as I went down, as soon as I was about to pay the tickets and so on and so forth, right? The girl just dipped on me in it.
Well, how?
Yeah, she just walked out, bro.
Uh, so she saw
Yeah,
you and walked out.
yeah, she just saw me and walked out. Yeah, so I was like, okay, what happened? So I had popcorn in my hand and everything. Yeah, and I
Hmm.
said, you know what? Yeah, cool, innit? So I took the popcorn, took the ticket, got a refund with one of them. Took the other one, went in the cinema with my 2 bags of popcorn, was matching popcorn, watching Harry Potter on my one, and I had a great day off.
Hmm.
Like, that's how certain guys have got to be like
Did she
moving. Like,
ever communicate with you after that point? Like, did she
no,
message you?
no. And I'm like, my mentality is that at the time, I'm a light skinned guy, I'm tall, I'm good looking. There's gonna be another chick around the corner in it.
Hmm.
So that's the type of mentality guys have got to be
Exactly.
moving in.
Look, like exactly. Like for me, like when I was on the field, quote unquote, for me, it's like the real test is in your ability to actually talk and to actually, approach. Do you know what I mean? To actually make contact or whatever it is. If someone rejects you, that's not the end of the world. That just confirms that, look, okay, you did what you had to do, but this one person just you're not her thing. That's cool. That's good. But the learning curve is in what you did, right?
Yeah,
Like you're not going to be to everyone's liking. And it's like almost like guys just have this entitlement where they believe that, whoever they walk up to, like in this video, whoever you walk up to should give you the digits. Like
yeah.
that's where it gets a bit crazy,
It's
you
entitlement
know?
at that.
Right,
In the end of the day, yeah, a girl could choose to say yes or no. That's it. Like in the end of the day, if she says no, there's nothing much you can really do with it.
right.
Like you can't
Have a
negotiate
good
the guy.
day, cool,
you can't negotiate attractiveness. Like you can't talk a woman into being attracted to you. This is
The
what it
thing
is.
is, now you say that, the thing is, this is why I go back to content, because there's a whole lot of content about game and about trying to convince someone, you know, trying to play with words. And I get it. I understand, like, you know, sales tactics, for example, like don't take no for an answer type of thing. And that's crazy. But there comes a point where it's like people are taking that to extremes now. It's like no else possible. Like it's like, you know, you can't lose. You shouldn't lose. And if you lose, you're gonna be emotional. You're gonna be doing crazy things like walking, you like, you know, robbing, like trying to rob phones or stab someone straight up.
Yeah. Like, and now I understand. Like, I can understand if women are seeing content like this also, like they may not be so receptive to like guys approaching them now.
Mm,
So the dynamic where, and let's just keep it real, men in most cases are the guys that have to do the approaching. Like women don't really approach you like that, right? Be honest with you, I've only experienced it probably 2 or 3 times in my life. I had to be the one that approached
mm,
um, to get things popping, basically. So it kind of causes a stalemate, and that's what the other guys who don't approach properly sometimes do, right?
mm,
Because if you're moving uncorrected, the videos go viral, right? Women are gonna have pattern recognition in it. They're gonna think,
mm.
okay, this guy's moving bookie, so if another guy's approaching me, even if that guy might act bookie too, right? And you also got to take into consideration the woman's the fairest sex as well, so she ain't obviously gonna be as strong as a man, right? Physically, so that's
Mm.
another thing you got to take into consideration. But yeah, like that whole thing there is just mad. But
Right.
it's like the younger generation's got to understand, like it's a process. Like you're gonna take L's. Sometimes you're
Mm,
gonna be out for maybe a year or two because you're busy and focused on like you got to be focused on other things than just women. There's more to the world
mm.
than just women. Like
And I have to say that I understand the situation, you know, like I think in the past I've come across as probably unempathetic, but I'm very empathetic actually, you know. Like a lot of my content, especially back in the day, was expressing what a lot of us go through. So I understand, and I understand, for example, a lot of us didn't have the good parents. Something that I'm going hard on these days. Didn't even have fathers in the house. Might have had unattentive fathers. We didn't have that, you know, that traditional kind of male role model. So a lot of us have to find out this stuff by ourselves. Some of us join gangs, right, and pay the price for that, right? I'm
yeah,
empathetic to that, you know. I'm empathetic to that, but I think that there are solutions, and it kind of seems like some guys are just so closed off to them that they don't care. And on one hand, I understand, like you can't just trust anyone, especially on the internet, and just, you know, align with their quote unquote solution, right? But what I've noticed is that even with content, you can see that like mentalities, um, people generally say the same things, right? Like when it comes to like self-improvement, people are generally saying the same thing. Like, you know, delay gratification, do the hard work, even the generic stuff like cold showers and you know, going without fasting, like because these are the traits or these are the habits that are needed to uh, uh, create that sense of how can I put it, like appreciation for what comes from the hard work, if that makes sense, you know, like
yeah,
delay gratification, be just not being comfortable every time and adjusting to that comfort, right? It's like we all say the same things, but people reject it. And then this is where I go to the BP people, is that they just call it cope. You know, if you're not you're a normie sub 5, that type of verbiage, you know, you're a 3 out of 10. So, you know, you can't expect to get this or that. You know what I mean? It's like,
the
damn,
black
people like,
pill, the black pill stuff. Yeah, I think it's just I think it's worse than the red pill stuff, right? And
mm,
like that's why I've never ever touched that, never touched it or even have that even get into my mind, right? The black
mm,
pill stuff, right? Here's the thing that cracks me up about the black pill stuff, right?
mm,
Is it's very hypocritical because even the book that I was reading at the time, right, where you have people who are black pill, who are really, when I think of black pillars, I think of teenagers and people in their early 20s, right? Maybe there are older black pillars, but those are the demographic that I see the most, right? You have a big black pillar who say he's not a black pillar, the waffles guy or whatever, right? Now, the thing is when I was his age, right, I was trying to find out the guy that had the answer, right, and actually could prove that this stuff works, or find other people that are actually happy or had ability, right? And the books, like the two people that I would say, the two dating coaches, or actually legit dating coaches, because there are a few scammers out there, right? Um, was Corey Wayne, right? And also having a friend that encouraged me to go out on a nightclub scene in Croydon, right? And you got to take into consideration, I'm an autistic individual, right? So social skills ain't gonna be as good, but I've been socializing for years. I used to go to youth clubs, all of that stuff. Right? After youth clubs, it was me going clubbing, right? Oh, not so as social as I used to be, but still am to an extent. But the thing is for guys like that, you got to find people who have got tested results in it. Like even when I was reading like Corey Wayne 3% Man, it was even talking about how women don't really care about looks like that. It's really about how you make them feel, right?
Oh, we were having a discussion in the city about that, right? Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna, bring out people's personal stuff and that, but like this whole idea on looks, again, I can only go with my personal opinion, but the looks can only go so far, man. Like, as someone who's experienced relationships long term, I'm not talking about a few months, I'm not talking about flings. That's not it. Like all these things that people are trying to use to shoehorn into, these kind of relationships, that's not it. It's like people, I don't know if it's by intention or maybe just looking the part is the easiest route. And the hard part is actually being a, a good person, a solid person. But it's like that's these things are not it. These looks maxing, it's not it. That's not the thing.
The things that really matter in a relationship is communication, things like courtship, right? Those are the cornerstones of relationships, right? Obviously, compatibility, right?
Right, reliability,
All these
trustworthiness, and these are the cornerstones for just general social life, making friends. Right, trustworthiness. You're not gonna talk behind your friend's back. People can
yeah.
trust you with their, this is just
And
socializing 101, really.
right, and you notice how none of those attributes correlate to looks, and that's how relationships are. Like I've been in a few. Not saying like I'm the best guy to go to, I'm an expert, but the thing is, it's like they're being led down the wrong path, and they're just being their, let's say, their shortcomings or the pain and the suffering that they're going through is just being monetized off people just trying to sell them stuff, basically sell them dreams that is just simply not going to happen. Like either way, you're just gonna have to put in the work. That's just how it is. Like this is what I don't get is it's like with relationships these days, right? They feel as if real life is real life and relationships is just fantasy. Like it's not an extension. Like, oh, I'm just gonna come into a relationship as I am. But the reality is, you gotta have to understand how relationships work to get benefits from relationship. People just go together with each other for this, like thinking, oh, hey, I will just go with this person and then just see how things work. Like it's the same type of mentality with like Tinder, right? Where it's like, okay, this shiny object, cool. I picked this shiny object. Let's see how things go.
Right.
And that's why there's relationship breakdowns, right? It's McDonald's relationships, basically. It's all fast. And it takes time to build a relationship and build character, build trust, right?
Right.
You can't get that from one swipe on a flipping Tinder app. You know what I mean? Like, and guys, this is why, like, even with the guy that was approaching that woman, he's probably thinking in this, man, I could be wrong. I can't read this. But it's like, okay, I go talk to her. She says yes. We go off to a hotel and we smash. You get what I'm saying? Like this type of fast thinking. Like I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's this type of fast thinking that's going on.
Right. Right.
Like everyone just wants it instant.
Right. Instant gratification.
Yeah.
Like with like, and this is what I come to ask people when they talk about relationship type stuff. Like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about a long-term relationship, or are you talking about like pump and dump and just smashing? Like, it's like people are just working for the latter. You know what I mean? And it's no judgment on them. You do what you want, live your life how you want, but yeah, it's just the approach is just like it's of someone that is just not fully there, man. Like, I don't even want to say it like that, but just don't either people don't know what they really want, or people just don't know how to get what they want. You know what I mean?
I think it's both.
But
It's both.
right. But hey, man, I appreciate this discussion, man. It's been great. I want to go into just one last area, right? Because we kind of alluded to this, and it's a very good conversation. I think that this whole idea that incels, black people, black men are more prone to becoming incels because I don't know, so societal pressures, race issues that again we talk a lot about ethnic minorities and the kind of problems that we might face. I don't know, like for example, we might not be seen as the example of male attractiveness. I don't know. People might claim Eurocentric ideals are, champion, etc., etc. But do you think there is a problem of quote unquote inceldom? And with inceldom, I just basically mean like a sexual frustration that will, sexual frustration, particularly within black men because of various reasons. What do you think about that?
I think because even during my time when I was in the so-called space, right, not my black manosphere space or whatever, right, I would say incels, the incel situation, right, I can understand how they're feeling, but the thing is when you really look at incels, right? Because I've watched a lot of videos, right? I've seen especially Black American incels, right? And I've seen other incel content. The way they talk, most of them don't talk from a place of happiness or strength, right? Or low self-esteem, right? So what I would really say is it's an internal issue, right? It's internal issues they have that they haven't dealt with. Now, there may be something I don't know because I haven't experienced this, right? Maybe they're just feeling as if there's no hope or no doom, and maybe it is really that bad in the United States. I don't know because I'm not there, right? And I can't factor in or take things into account via a YouTube video. I have to be in the United States, right? Because you don't know what's going on, or you don't know what they aren't doing behind the camera, right?
Right.
So regarding the incel situation, I think first off is maybe they don't have the strong family unit, right? Or to tell or teach them or have male role models that can teach them what healthy relationships consist of. So they don't know where to go, right? They're literally rudderless. They have no direction. They have no guidance in terms of that, right? Right. So that puts them in a state of inceldom because they can't figure out how to navigate the dating scene or how to interact with another female. Speak
When
to
you say
another.
family, do you mean, for example, the typical black single mother household where,
Yeah,
there's no kind of man to kind of, these are
yeah,
things that, like, when I have my son, it's going to be like, yeah, son, look, I'm going to be, like a coach. Like,
that,
it's like, this is your first point of contact with regards to these intimate things. Right. So, yeah, it's like a lot of people come into manhood. And it's like they're just either learning from TV, films, or the streets. And usually, these avenues are just, kind of sleazy. Oh, yeah, yeah. You might do this. You might climb train tracks. You think that is a demonstration of manhood, for example. Yeah, that is a factor.
yeah, because that's what I really see with the insults. I don't think, and I've looked at how they look, and even though looks let's say I would say looks gets you in the door, but it doesn't maintain it, right?
Mhm.
Because there's other skills that you need other than looks to basically maintain a relationship, right? Like I stated previously about stability, reliability, courtship,
Nah. Just be Giga Chad. Just be
Yeah,
Giga Chad, and that's all you need. Just have a jawline with hunter eyes and
yeah,
what's the next one? Glass skin and a good hairline. That will give you the lifelong wholesome relationship. You know, you
yeah.
see how like it's just fantasy that a lot of people are absorbing on a daily basis, and this is what's messed up.
Right. And oh man, there was sorry, I'll say their name, right?
Mm,
Okay. Um, don't come for Falcon, come for me, right?
mm,
There's one YouTuber that, even though I know he has good intentions and he wants to help young men,
mm,
and I'll say it's in some cases it was quite damaging the way he was doing it. Even though I rate him highly, I think he's doing a lot more better things for young men than pretty much anyone else in that space of time. And that's Hamza, right? And
mm,
there was one aspect of Hamza I didn't like was, the Adonis, like
mm,
the perfect man,
mm,
right? Now, I understand the concept, what he was trying to do, and look, fair play to him. I respect where he's came from and where he started from a place from literally in the bedroom in Manchester to like a
mm,
millionaire now. Prop to him, like big up for that, right?
mm,
But
absolutely.
the thing is when there was one aspect I was like, you're kind of borderlining on perfection, like being a perfectionist, right?
Mm,
And the problem with being a perfectionist is it puts so much unnecessary pressure on you, right? Because you're trying to hold up to a expectation that is unrealistic, right? And that's why I just looked at, when I saw Adonis and, he's a white guy, tall, Chad, whatever, it's like, I don't know, and there was another thing, and like there was another comment, there's another YouTuber that I like, right? His name's The First Man, right? And
mhm, mhm,
I listen to some of the stuff he comes up with, especially with the finance stuff, because he's doing it, right?
mhm.
And you know, it, in a way, it kind of gives guys hope, right? Um, and I think social media has done a number on a lot of people's heads, even in their heads in the chat. I was
Mhm,
hearing things like 32 is old, like
mm,
32 years is old, and I'm like, yeah, social media's done a number on a lot of people's heads because
right,
32 is a very young age. Like old age is considered 65 upwards,
right,
right? 32, your life is pretty much just started. You've probably got a long, long time ahead of you. God
right,
willing that you're in good health, right? And this is the type of stuff that this fast lane, like just trying to just do things ASAP, rushing into things, not realizing that it takes time with whatever it is that you want to achieve, right?
mm,
And I would say that is quite concerning with the youth. Is just the perfectionist mentality, which is
right.
not like you're gonna have else. Like for example, you see this with Gen Z a lot, where you see them on YouTube trying to get data. You know, yeah, like if I do XX, it's very no pun intended. It's a very autistic way of looking at things, right?
Mm,
Where it's like if I do X and X and X, I get X outcome, which is not
right,
necessarily true,
right.
right? Say, oh, if I'm this type of person, this woman's gonna stay with me. She's gonna lose it. She might lose the attraction for you. You can't predict these things. Like kicks will walk up on you and bounce.
And you
Sometimes it
mentioned First Man, and content wise, like I like that type of content. But even people like him, it's like he talks about, if I recall, the male advantage, right? Which is I think it's the idea that um, the more you kind of hold out from giving into things like, I don't know, serious commitment or marriage and stuff like that, the more your world will open up. To some extent, that might be true, but the
my
reality
point.
is, is that uh, he talks from a point like there's just so many. First of all, there's so many variables to that. There is not just one perfect route to that
Yeah,
outcome. You might not end up meeting the exact same people that you've met in the past that you've turned down to work on your journey. It's not right or wrong, but these variables are missed when people are talking in this very robotic way of for life. You might succumb to an injury. When you're in the
yeah,
prime of your life, you might get a disease.
yeah.
you know so many variables. And even on the financial side, I think he talks from like a lot what I've noticed, a lot of people are talking because they, finances, they're talking from a point of being recipients of receiving like 6 figures of inheritance, right? So
Right.
it's easy for someone to speak about, just invest in, like, from a business point of view, but the reality is most people are not recipients of, if anything, from inheritance, right? Be it £10 to 6 figures. So
Like,
it's like the nuance people need to be very aware of. But
right.
because of how content is, it's not really the content creator's fault, but it's like people just look at it in a very linear way. And
Yeah.
when you live through a content creator and their advice like a machine, it's like, bro, the outcome, you might not get the outcome you want because of these variables that you haven't taken into consideration.
Exactly. And I've read his book. I actually got his book, the Male Advantage. It's a pretty good book, but regarding the Male Advantage, again, it's based off perfectionism, right?
Mm,
Now, I do subscribe to some of the things regarding self-improvement, like, like if, for example, there was a great video where he had a chart that it was perfect for me to the point where I actually copied the chart and started doing some of the things
mhm,
regarding it that actually sustained for me and it's helped significantly. It was like a chart from 16 to 30, and he had
mhm,
like tiers 1, 2, and 3 regarding what a man could do to basically self-improve himself, and I thought it was perfect for me, but
mhm,
that's the thing. Like, it's everyone has a different way of starting things. Like, for example, if you hold out for relationships or getting in serious for too long, what happens is you start losing uh first experience,
mhm,
having openness. Let's say
mhm. Yeah,
yourself
because
is
you become rigid, you become, you grow
right,
into yourself.
right. Because with me, like, even at age 32, I already know what I want in a woman because I've had the experience and I've figured out, hey, look, this may be the type of woman. And to be honest, it's not even that much. All it is a woman that will stick with me through the hard times and the good times. And I already found someone like that. I just have to find them again, right?
Mm,
So the thing is, it's like, um, when they give this advice where you have to be, you know, it's very linear and then it just takes
mm,
the fun out of life.
mm.
You know what I mean? Some of the memories that you have in life are just happens out of the blue.
The thing is that with messages like that, what I am worried about, I'm not I'm not, people can do what they want to do. I'm not like, oh my God, I need to save you. No, not like that. But it's like, um, if you give someone an alternative message or you ask them to look at these other variables or to have some nuance, they get very offended by it. And for me, that just speaks of like fandom. It's like you have now exalted a content creator to be someone who has all your answers and they can't be wrong. And if you even try to kind of suggest that there might be any failings in what they're saying, you are the problem. It's like this. I don't even. Like, I'm not even trying to dirty Mac or anything like that. But it
Yeah,
becomes like a cult where it's like you're protecting,
your
these
calling.
guys. This is
Yeah,
where I just think it gets crazy.
have your own individualistic mind and just
Exactly. As a man, especially, you need to
yeah,
be. For me, masculinity is about individuality, rugged individuality. Yeah,
yeah,
take information, learn, be open to learning, but you follow your own design. You follow your own flow. You set the pace of your own life.
right.
You make your own charts. You make your own, like, yeah, you make your own order. You make your own habits, your own morning routines, evening routines. Like, this is important for individual, for men.
Exactly. And that's the same thing I do. For example, on my computer, I have like cloud. Right, I have a cloud of like files
Mm,
of the different elements that I want in my life and how to basically achieve from the information of people that has already achieved it. Right. I don't
right,
really get let's say I don't follow other people's ideologies.
right.
I just take well I take into consideration people's skills and see how I could implement it in my life. and like I even have what I want in life roadmap, where it has all the things that I want from life, and then from the things I want of life, how do I achieve it? That's how I know how much money I need to make to have the lifestyle that I want, right? All of these type of things, and this could, this is customizable to everyone. Like, just write everything that you want down in life, and then find out how to do it. You don't need no YouTube content creator to tell you this,
Right.
right?
Right.
Everyone has different desires in very different ways. Like I have some weird ones. I'm not going to talk about it here, but you know, that's just really it, right? Everyone has their different way of living life, right? And there's no one way of, hey, this is what you got to be, you know, how you got to live like. Because there was something wild, like where like Hamza, like for example, Hamza would say something to one of his friends, right? He literally said to his friend, right, if you don't put on the orange filter on your phone, oh, I lose respect for you, right? When I heard that, I was like, bruh, now you're just taking it too far,
Mhm.
and that's where sometimes self-improvement can become very addicted, and where
Right.
you're not really satisfied, and you come into a point where it does become cult-like, where there's no individuality, and that's the thing what makes humans interesting, and that's how what makes relationships interesting. Is the fact is when you get into a relationship with someone, you're never ever gonna find someone exactly like them ever again, because that what makes you an
Mhm.
individual, right?
Mhm.
And that is quite concerning, where they want to become clones of these content creators because they don't have identity themselves.
Right.
Like you even see
Right.
it with Aiden Ross. Like even Aiden Ross, for instance, he was trying to be an Andrew Tate clone. Like as soon as same thing with Sneeko as well, right? And yeah, again, Sneeko's another guy I could talk about. That guy was really, really talented in his younger years, and he's completely fumbled the bag. Like he's more mature in his younger years than he was in his older years, in my opinion. But what Captain Tolson was saying about First Man, yeah, he can be a bit deluded. I ain't gonna lie, but I still like his stuff.
Fair enough. I just think that, like I said in the opener, like the main things, particularly younger people need to work on, is self-esteem, having healthy self-esteem, and that's going to be based on a realistic approach to life, right? Not living in social media, looking and searching for negative posts that confirm whatever their negative, low self-esteem mentality, bleak mentality chooses to believe, right? And then it's fear, because again, with the whole lack of having that rites or passage, we've never really had an event, or there's never really been a thing that, well, when does a boy become a man type of thing. In the modern world, it's just, oh, once you turn 18, you're a man. But it's like, well, what has happened to make me become a man? Type of, I haven't done any activity. I haven't. There is nothing that I've done to, you know. A lot of us, I mean, it's a big thing. A lot of us are still living with our parents.
Yeah,
So yeah, there is a lot of shackles and a lot of hardships to kind of shake off, the doldrums. And this is where I have empathy. But it's
yeah,
also on us, in my opinion, to find our own individual, uh, I don't know, like our own individual self-improvement, our own individual strength to overcome the low self-esteem and the fears that we have inside our head. And for me, again, martial arts is the easiest one that will actually work. Fitness, mental fitness, self-confidence, self-esteem, progression, fraternity, brotherhood. Like it's just, yeah, that's what it's done for me. So that's my little spill there.
yeah. I could definitely relate to what you're saying, because when I was doing martial arts in my younger years, like even in my teens, it did help. But I figured I need to find a way. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, because football and martial arts and the recovery is just rough. But
Yeah,
might have to
that's mine.
maybe I can find a way to fit in. I don't know how, but I might. I always said I was going to return to martial arts before, but
Mm,
and another thing as well to talk about regarding like the sneaker and the cuck thing, right? I was talking about way before that even happened. Some of the things he was talking about was pretty mature for his age. Obviously, you're not gonna expect a 32-year-old mentality head, but the dude was pretty influential in his younger years. Like,
Mm.
and he's another dude that had ADHD as well.
Mm.
So
Okay. But hey,
yeah,
JM, man, we hit the 2 hour mark and I'm starting to borg out. You know, when I reach there, it's time to hit the hay. But I appreciate
no
you
problem.
coming up, man. This has been a great conversation, man, because it's very, very relevant and we still stuck to the original topic, you know. So I really appreciate that, man. Um feel, as always, you know how it is. Feel free to drop your links, any channels that you want people to subscribe to. Any closing thoughts, sorry?
Closing thoughts is really what I would say to, even the situation where the guy was, approaching
Mm.
is you gotta verify, you gotta find the people that already have the answers. You know what I mean? Like who've already been field tested, who's gone out there, you know, has taken a few L's. Like at the end of the
Right,
day, everything that you want in life, it's gonna take time in it. If you want to get good with girls, it's gonna take time. Same guy, on the screen you're watching right now, it's gonna take time, innit? It's just reality. Like every something worth getting is never gonna be easy.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's
geez,
kind of
some of it,
mad that this guy is 32, though. I can't lie, man.
dude just needs to just put in the work, find information that actually works, right? And just work on the social skills. Like I'm
Mm.
meant to be socially awkward, but I'm not socially awkward.
Yeah, I mean, you can hold a conversation like this. It's like it's hard to tell.
Exactly, you can't tell. Like that is what hard work does.
Right,
Like the years of going to youth clubs, socializing with people, having friends. Like people with, learning disabilities sometimes can't maintain friendships, let alone have relationships. That's a
right,
testament of why putting in work, putting in work and, finding the right information and having the experience helps. It helps.
right.
Like you can get like this idea you're hearing on the internet about all of these unrealistic expectations. You could find if it's really that bad, you don't have to be looking for a bad B. Just find a good woman.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like if even if she's a mid or a duck, as people say, if she's a good woman, so what?
mm,
You know what I mean? Like I said, like one of the loves of my life was a plain Jane, right? She weren't one of these attractive bad bees you're seeing looking like an Instagram model. She was just mid, like, and she was the love of my life, you know. So, and the thing is, it's like guys have got to understand is, would you have a good woman, right, or a good woman who may not be the best looking, but she's good to you, or would you want a bad bee, and she leaves you, and then you're back on the hunt looking for another woman again? I know what option I'm picking because
it's
after
funny
the
you say
breakup,
that because when you look at long term kind of relationships, couples, etc. Even if you look on the street, families, you're not looking at supermodels, man. You're looking at average people who have maintained that relationship, right? Obviously, we don't know the ins and outs, but just on the surface, that's what it is. All of these Insta models that some of these people are desiring and being chad, you don't see this. You know what I mean? You don't see long term, wholesome, like relationship, family, whatever. You don't see these characters there. So
right,
just yeah, like James says, if that's what you want, again, I'm not trying to shoe on. Some people just want to, smash and dash whatever you want to do. But if that's what you want, then yeah, just find a good woman, man,
right, and
and chill
yeah,
and relax.
exactly. And closing thoughts to completely destroy the red pill and the black pill ideology in one swipe is okay. How come these celebrities are getting divorced? They're high
Mm,
value men and they're good looking. How come they still ain't keeping them?
right.
There's your evidence right there in the real world. They're high value. They're good looking. Like,
But again,
hello.
just like I said, these people will reject that. Even if people will reject that because their narrative that they've been ingrained with for so long, like they can't be wrong, and their content creator, who is the originator, can't be wrong. Like, so much investment and time and live streams and super chat has gone into that. So it's like it's hard to shake people up. Like people are just so. It's like that venom symbiote, that venom symbiote. The way it just comes into that, into your suit or whatever, and it turns you, it's hard to get off.
Yeah, that's just really it, man. Like,
yeah, man.
just do what you gotta do, man. Like, you got one life.
Right. But Jay, man, I really appreciate coming on, man. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, man.
Man, have a good one. Have a good weekend.
In a bit.
Yeah, peace. Okay, guys, man, I really appreciate everyone who came through. You know, everyone who came through into the chat tonight, everyone who came through in the super chat as well. We got Ifechi Michael, MJA2873, Shekanulu became a member. And we got Captain Toast in the building as well, man. I really appreciate everyone coming through. So, as I said, live streams every Friday from 10. So, you know, not exactly 10, but from 10. Expect a live stream and videos in earlier during the week. Okay, I'm gonna keep this ball rolling. But I appreciate everyone. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, you don't want to be like this guy. You don't have to be like this guy on the screen. You know, self-esteem. Don't be an addict. You know, the addictions that you have, learn to overcome them. Learn to compartmentalize them. I think most of us know the answers, but it's whether or not we have the technique to apply them. You know what I mean? And this is what self-improvement is all about, in my opinion, man. But with that being said, man, look forward to new videos coming during the week. I hope everyone has a good weekend. And with that said, I'm going to bid you farewell. Peace.